Hi, I'm Mike Peterson from Brown Harris Stevens. The Hamptons runs on relationships, and over the years, I've built a network of top-tier professionals who operate at the highest level. Mic Hamptons is your access point to that world, the people, the insights, and the opportunities behind it all. Hi, welcome to another episode of the Mic Hamptons podcast, powered by the HNGLI.com networking group, a Hamptons Networking Group. We are approximately 34 individuals. We all work together to help each other out. It's a networking group. It's a variety of folks in the group, anything from smart home systems design. We have attorneys. We've got plumbers, electricians, as I always say. On the real estate seat with Brown Harris Stevens. And with me today, I've got Chris Zeh. Welcome on board.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
So this is the newest affiliate of Brown Harris Stevens. So I'm learning everything new and fresh today, just to be really clear. So if I stumble a little bit, it's because I'm just getting to know you.
It's all good.
So you are a trust and estates attorney?
That I am, yes. I've been practicing for 26 years. My office is located in Melville, New York.
He started when he was 12.
Yes, I graduated law school in 1999, went to St. John's, proud Johnny, and that's it's have an interesting background, and people always ask me how I got into trust and estates because my first internship in law school was at a criminal defense firm. So I got a lot of trial experience there. I thought I was going to be the next Johnny Cochran, and that didn't quite work out the way I thought it was going to be. So we went into trust and estates through some personal things that I went through at the time, and it kind of took off from there.
I guess the first one, when I think about what you do, without naming names, what are the most common mistakes that families of means make?
I find the most common mistakes that really anyone makes, whether they have means or they don't have means, is they don't have a plan in place. So, for example, if an individual dies with a will or without a will, their estate has to go through the probate process or an administration proceeding through the surrogates court of the county in which they live in. That often becomes a very expensive process. It's a very time-consuming process. And I always tell clients that if you have a will, you do not have an estate plan. So that is a very common mistake that people fall into. Sometimes people get wills from, a union prepaid legal services plan, and they think they're fine. But in my opinion, and it's probably shared amongst a lot of people in my industry, is that, that's really just a recipe for about a $15,000 to $20,000 legal bill at the end of the day, where there's just other ways to set up, more of a plan that, the people, you get your access to your assets faster and everything moves a lot quicker, and it's a lot cheaper to do it that way as well, if you have a trust or something like that set up.
Got it. So when you die without a will in New York, that's when the situation just bogs down.
What happens if you die without a will in New York, you have to start what's called an administration proceeding. That also goes through the surrogates court. Everything is public record. In terms of a trust, everything remains private. It's expensive to file the proceeding. You have to hire an attorney. It's where that people can navigate the surrogates court and all the rules and laws that by themselves. So again, it's really the people that don't plan run into the biggest problems, because we see those in our offices. The hairiest cases, or the ones that are the most difficult to kind of unwind, are the people that didn't plan properly. And there's people fighting. There's people coming out of the woodworks to contest things. There's creditors looking to get their hands on the assets of the estate as well. So anytime that that you don't plan, you expose yourself to something like that.
Got it. So I was thinking about this. How often? So I go through the process and I utilize your services. How often do I need to update?
You should really update it. We provide like an annual review of everything. If there's a life occurrence, you get divorced, you have another child, a child predeceases the parents, like certain things like that, it should be looked at again to update the documents, possibly change beneficiaries. The laws are always changing too, so you want to stay ahead of that curve as well.
Okay. That makes sense. Uh, so, are there special estate planning considerations for Hampton homeowners?
Yeah, I mean, for Hamptons homeowners, the property values, I'm sure, are pretty high out here. As we all know, anyone who lives on Long Island or probably in the United States knows the property values out here. So you definitely want to protect your home from having to go through the probate process. Again, it transfers a lot easier vis-a-vis a trust or or some form of a trust. There's also ways that higher income families or individuals can set up different trusts to kind of defer taxes. We work with CPAs, we work with financial advisors, we collaborate with everybody. So it's really like a team approach when it comes to somebody, with a little bit of higher net worth individual.
These are so a lot of these are vacation homes, second homes, sometimes third, fourth homes. But is there anything that's different about that in the process?
Not specifically. I mean, if it's a second home or a third home or a vacation home, you probably still want to put it into some estate tool like a trust, just so again, a lot of the reasons why you put something in a trust it's a probate avoidance strategy. So in order to go through that, it's better off having it into a trust or possibly putting, a vacation home or something into, an LLC that can be, moved over into the trust as well. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Again, it's all learning for me.
Yeah.
And as much as you can without giving up names and whatnot, but can you share a story where good planning saved a family an enormous amount of stress, stroke, money? Is there like something?
Yeah, I mean, it normally, Mike, I gotta be honest with you, it normally saves any time that they have a good plan in place. We say that, our motto is we give people peace of mind. So they come in, these are very sometimes difficult conversations to have because you're dealing with mortality, you're dealing with, family, you're dealing with money. And a lot of times all those issues, when they come about, it's a little bit stressful to talk about. So anytime we put a plan together, it's going to, it's going to benefit, it's going to give the people that created the trust, say parents a peace of mind that, once they pass away, that everything is kind of, they have a roadmap and a game plan as to everything that's going to happen with respect to their assets. So that's, without getting into specific, case studies, it's usually, like I mentioned before, it's the people that don't plan properly or at all that really run into the problems. The people that plan, they walk out of our office, they have all their documents, we give them a secure link so they can download everything that they need. And a lot of times it's transactional. I mean, we do updates on the trust, like we talked about before, but it's mostly, once they put the plan in place, rarely do we ever need to do anything else again, but for those specifics that we talked about before with life event changes and things like that. So
I was recently approached by a gentleman I'm engaged with, who's got multiple businesses, multiple personal properties, been out here forever, and he's getting older. I hate to say aging out, but he knows he's got less time left than he had before, and he's trying to figure out and the strategy around his family. Like, I said, well, don't you want everybody to just inherit everything? He's, well, I don't think that they don't seem to get along enough.
right.
It's like, so we might need to come up with a valuation for this whole thing.
Yeah, and that's
the market.
and that's a common theme that we see, that people that come into our office. So some children might have, and these could be adult children as well. They might have an issue with gambling or with an issue with drugs, and that have to be addressed within the trust, which sometimes there'll be a trust within the trust so that those people can still get what their benefit and their distribution, but it'll just have to be monitored a little bit better. And as far as the business goes, usually, that's done through a lot of business succession planning as well. So, which kind of works hand in hand. So I don't know how his business is constructed, but that's probably something he would want to look into.
Good advice. May have to pass them on to you. I guess, are there, again, this may seem basic to you, but I'm trying to think for the audience, what do they want to hear? Like, what documents should every adult have, immediately?
So in my opinion, every adult who is married, owns a home, should have at least a living trust, which is, it's a living trust and a revocable trust are kind of synonymous. So if it's a young family, they just bought a house, maybe they have 2 young kids, it kind of outlines, what happens with the kids should they both, God forbid, they both pass away. It outlines what happens if one passes away and the other doesn't. You could appoint a guardian for the children vis-a-vis that trust. Like I gave the example, if something happens to both of them, God forbid. So that's what I would recommend for basically anybody. And then again, it's also the tool that avoids the probate process, because when someone passes away, emotions are high. People don't know what to do. And if you don't have things in order, or you don't have things planned out, so we see a lot of scrambling that's being done. Sometimes people make poor decisions. And that is only going to lead to more and more problems down the road. I mean, it's better for the probate / administration attorney, but if you have the proper plan, you really don't ever have to get to that point.
I got it. So you touched on this earlier. I was thinking about, in your offices, you work with your partners, your attorneys. I know that you speak very highly of the people that you work with. I think you made mention, for reviewing my notes, that you can't do what you do without your staff.
Yeah, I mean, my staff is like the lifeblood of my company. If they're experienced, they're friendly, they have my back, I have theirs. It's I don't run it where I'm like barking out orders at people. I mean, it's more of we're a team. We're not just, I'm the boss and you're the employee, because in my opinion, it doesn't work. Maybe in other firms or other businesses, that's a better approach, but I haven't found that to be effective, and that's why I do it the way we do it. We try to keep it collegial, and I find that most I get a lot more out of the staff like that, because they know that I'm there for them, and likewise they're there for me.
So expanding out from your existing, your core, so I'm assuming you liaise with a number of folks, accountants, realtors, financial advisors, insurance, other attorneys?
Yes, so we deal with a lot of financial advisors, because again, like financial advisors, insurance professionals, they're all in like the planning business as well, right? So as part of the plan, you might want to have, for insurance, you might want to have long-term care insurance. So you have to go into a home, or you need an aide to come to the house, you have the insurance there. With the financial advisor, you want to have your documents all set in place. So if something happens to the person that passed away, they have their financial documents in place, they have their estate documents in place, and everything again is, the people have peace of mind that, God forbid something happens, because we all know it will, death and taxes, then you have everything's in order, and it's going to make it a lot easier for for the surviving spouse and the surviving children.
It's the inevitable.
Yes.
I mentioned to you right before we got going that my wife owns a home care agency. I'm trying to plug her too much here, but Affirmed Home Care, and we've got about 500 clients.
Yeah, very reputable.
So they covering everything, but those are, she's always talking about the yous of the world. So
what was that?
The yous, right? Dealing with elder care law, dealing trust and estates.
Yeah.
They're just, she's always dealing with all these largely end of life scenarios. Sometimes it's people recovering from, a variety of things, but It's like crushingly important that they have relationships with folks like you.
Yes, it is. We network a lot with people in that industry as well. So it's again, she could probably repeat a bunch of the stuff that I just said about the importance of having these directives in place.
I switching gears again. I always try to like, a Hamptons Who Knew segment, like oh my God, have you ever dealt with a property or an estate in Hamptons, like with a crazy detailed history behind it? And again, as best as you can talk about it.
I mean, not so much crazy history, but obviously with people that have either second homes or live out here, full time, we've dealt with clients with that, just with more with the planning things, because they're the ones that seem to be more in tune with the financial advisors and the insurance professionals. So like we were talking about a few seconds ago, you want to have everything in place. So in that regard, we've dealt with Hamptons homeowners, Hamptons residents, but nothing too crazy.
There are some crazy stories out here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy stories, and we could probably sit here for a while discussing them. But again, those are the ones that they end up in court and litigating. And I had a case a while ago that people were fighting over, who gets the door knocker on the person's home. It's like it just gets so crazy, and it's just it's draining the corpus of the estate. It's draining the money, it's draining the distribution, but everybody's so at odds, they don't even care. So it gets a little brutal and very adversarial, but again, in those situations, the only people that are making money are the attorneys on each side.
We're gonna be running out of time shortly, but I wanted to get a quick speed round and keep you on your toes here.
Sure.
Are handwritten wills valid?
No, well, it depends. I mean, it has to be witnessed. It has to be properly acknowledged. There has to be an attesting affidavit. They're not invalid, but they have to be properly done.
Can trusts protect assets from lawsuits?
It depends what type of trust, but usually no.
Okay. Let's see. Should this is a good one. Should parents tell children what they're inheriting?
That is a good one. I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't think so. But that we leave that decision up to the client themselves. But if they
There's no right or wrong answer.
yeah, my personal opinion. I have two children at 22 and 19, and I have a plan in place, so they don't know anything about it. So
got it. Something that unmarried couples should know?
Unmarried couples, I mean, as far as their estate goes, they are not entitled to anything if they're a fiance, if they're been living together for 25 years, if they're not married, they have no claim to the other person's property whatsoever.
Interesting. My last one in the speed round is, how do second marriages complicate estate planning?
Most of the time we see with second marriages is issues with children from the first marriage. So it may complicate it a little bit with that. But it is, again, if it's a husband and wife from a second marriage, and they each have three kids from prior marriages, it can usually be worked out. So the only thing that complicates it that we've seen is, again, if the kids don't agree or the kids don't like the new wife or the new husband, that could it doesn't complicate it so much. It just puts it into an area where there could be some animosity based upon how mom or dad want to distribute their assets. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Could you, absolutely, my pleasure, truly. Could you please let folks know where they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can find us online at www.zehassociates.com. It has all of our information on there. You can find us on LinkedIn. and you give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation. We provide home visits. We come to nursing homes. We really take a hands-on approach with our clients and potential clients.
Nice to hear. Good stuff. So on that note, thank you again for tuning into another episode of the Mic Hamptons podcast. This is powered by the HNGLI.com or Hamptons Networking Group, and a special shout out to Flying Point Studios for having us. Always greatly appreciated. This is where deals get done. So if you ever have a problem, question, and you need the advice of an expert, please reach out. I know a guy. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Hey, this is Michael. Thanks for listening to Mic Hamptons, powered by the Hamptons Networking Group, where the right people make the right things happen. If you're planning anything in the Hamptons, buying, selling, building, hosting, or investing, don't do it alone. Tap into our network of vetted, top-tier service providers who get things done at the highest level. And if real estate is part of your plan, I bring deep knowledge, strong network, and a track record of getting deals done the right way. Reach out anytime. We'll see you on the next one. You can call, text, or DM me right now, or visit my website to get connected. I work with a tight network, and the best deals go to the people who move first. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next deal. Keep making moves.